you ask me, what do I think of Terrence Bud Crawford being number one now that Canelo Alvarez has lost? My answer to that is Terrence Crawford was always number one. To the real boxing fans who's not on no bias and not on no flag country shit, everybody knows Terrence Crawford is the number one pound for pound fighter, point blank and period. You know, but now it's at a place where you can't deny that he's number one. A lot of people want to try to push Alexander Usyk is number one. He's number one. He's number one now. See, they want you to have in your mind anybody in that category but somebody that looks like Terrence Bud Crawford. Point blank and period. Okay? Now, for the longest time, Terrence Bud Crawford has been number two up under Canelo. You know, Alexander Usyk, he's either been third, fourth, fifth, or sixth or some shit like that. So now that you have no choice to say that Terrence Bud Crawford is pound for pound number one, now they want to try to push a heavyweight in the number one spot. And if they're going to do that, then we might as well add in Tyson Fury. And in that case, he ranks higher than Alexander Usyk to me as far as a pound for pound fighter. You know, heavyweights has never been a part of the pound for pound list. But like I said before, it's just at the end of the day, you know, people got a problem with people's complexion. I'll reiterate, just like I always have. When Vasily Lomachenko was considered pound for pound number one fighter for 4 years, you didn't hear nothing from Canelo Alvarez fans. They accepted second place and third place. They were very compliant with it. They didn't have a problem. Okay? Then, as soon as Terrence Bud Crawford is considered the number one pound for pound fighter over Canelo Alvarez, then that's when all the Mexican fans come out and they got a problem. And they went around on a gang stalk brigade to attack anybody in their personal pound for pound list. They just went on this Canelo march all over the internet to attack anybody's pound for pound list or who does not. They were out here monitoring, making sure you had Canelo Alvarez's pound for pound number one. And for a group of people to dislike another group of people so much, do you notice how they care so much about your opinion and what you feel? That they're always trying to convince you to think like they think, but you never trying to convince them? You know, it's like they yearn for your approval. You know, they yearn for your approval. Now that you can't say Canelo is pound for pound number one, no, it's Usyk. It's Usyk now. It's Usyk. It's not Terrence Crawford. It's Usyk now. I ain't never seen nobody come up with a reason why somebody wasn't the number one pound for pound fighter. This is just some petty ass shit. You know, Canelo Alvarez losing brought the racism out of every fucking body. And you know what? I'm glad. Because back in the day when I used to bring this up, and people say, why are you bringing up race in boxing? I don't want to hear this, blah, blah, blah. And I've always said there's no way that you can accurately even talk about boxing without bringing up race. I stand by that still to this day. Now we're at a point where you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge that it plays a role. You know what I'm saying? You have to acknowledge what's going on with Terrence Bud Crawford. You got to acknowledge what Shakur Stevenson. You got to acknowledge with Jamal Charlo and his press conference where people telling him to go back home in his own country. They just have a problem with you being number one. I don't know why they just won't come out and say it. They doing everything else. They just got a problem with you being number one. They just got a problem with you being champions. They got a problem with you being dominant. They got a problem with you just anything of prominence and anything to praise. They got a problem with that being you. So with that being said, why are we listening to all these people when they trying to talk about our fighters? Why do we listen to them? You can't trust damn near none of them. This is where defending Floyd comes into play. Because the reason why I defend Floyd, number one, it's easy as hell to defend Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got to lie about nothing. You ain't got to pretend. The only thing you got to do is quote and recite the truth. That's all you got to do. But his discredit came off the back of his complexion, not because of what he did in the boxing ring, because it's unmatched. Period. So now you know this whole time, the people, same thing Jamal said about ESPN and y'all doing this and y'all doing that. You know, this is how they get down. And I'm going to say this, and this is what I'm going to end it with. In case you haven't known, it's this underground movement in boxing to make sure that you guys don't become champions and to make sure that you guys are not the face of boxing. If you haven't figured that out now, look at the signs. Look what goes on. Look who they allowed to cheat. Look who got franchise champion. Look at the people that they turned a blind eye to. Look who they allowed to cheat and then try to call out somebody for cheating. Look at the climate. You can't tell. It's right in front of your face. It's so fucking obvious. From Cambosis to Stevenson to Crawford to Wilder to Gervonta Davis to do you notice that they're not happy with not one of them? Not one of them. But you want to know you want to know what the irony is to that? But their favorite fighter is a black fighter on PBC, Gervonta Tank Davis. He not even a fan of another Mexican. So how are you even running shit? And I thought it was disgusting that the Mexicans tried to join forces with the Argentinians just to root against Jamel Charlo. Because just like I said, it ain't about country, flag, this, that. All these Latinos see is your damn color, and it's something that they are obsessed with. They're obsessed with it. And it's sickening. And nobody can. We all know that Mexican, the whole boxing Mexican fan base, we all know y'all racist now. Everybody can see it now. Is no longer denying it. You can't say it doesn't exist. You can't. Everybody in this boxing community sees it, and we know it. Everybody. But if you ask me, at this time, I believe we are getting blessed by the boxing gods. Because for some reason, the shit is just turning out in our favor as boxing fans. It's like the boxing gods is not allowing people to duck no more. They're not allowing people to hide. They're flushing the system out. They're smoking them out because even they're up there saying, hey, it's too much bullshit. We even want to see who's who and what's what. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at it, look at all these freak circumstances that's happening in order for us to get these fights. Look at it. And Canelo losing might be the best thing that happened for Terrence Bud Crawford in the Errol Spence fight. That might be the best thing that happened to push that fight and making it happen. So it seems as of right now, we getting blessed by the boxing gods. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy for it. That's all I got for now. I'm out.